My best friend wants me to leave my own birthday party to drive him home after work and got mad at me for not making him my priority, so I am serving him a friendship divorce. I have been best friends with Jake for over 6 years. We work at the same company and plan to go on a work and travel trip together soon. This situation happened last Friday, which was my birthday. I had planned a big family gathering with over 20 guests, some of whom traveled over an hour to be there. Jake was invited, and he told me he would come. The night before, we went grocery shopping together, but while sitting in the car, he suddenly told me at the last minute that he wouldn't be attending because he picked up an extra shift at work. I was a little hurt because we always celebrate our birthdays together, and he didn't need to take the shift. Our company has plenty of people who could have covered it. But I accepted it and moved on. On my birthday, we were texting before his shift. For context, Jake doesn't have a driver's license and usually relies on public transport or walks. I have a license but don't own a car. I use my mother's when needed. That afternoon, he mentioned that he would have to walk home because public transport stops running at a particular time, something he already knew when he took the shift. He also told me he was sick and asked if I could pick him up and drive him home. Our boss even told him he could leave 2 hours early to catch the last bus if needed, but he chose not to. I told him I couldn't leave my birthday party just to pick him up and drive him home. I had guests over, food and drinks to serve, and I felt it would be rude to leave when people had put in time and effort to celebrate with me. He replied, "Can't you just leave for 5 minutes and drive me home?" I explained that it wasn't just a 5-minute trip, I would be gone for at least 30 minutes. He replied dismissively, "Okay." Later, I checked Find My to make sure he got home safely and texted him, apologizing that I couldn't drive him, reminding him that I normally do, but I couldn't leave my party. That's when he got angry and told me my behavior was unacceptable and that I was just making excuses. For further context, I often drive him home, even when I'm not working the same shift. But this time, I had a prior commitment, one that he was originally supposed to attend. I reminded him again that our boss had told him he could leave early to catch the bus. At this point, he started arguing that the town is dangerous at night, but we've both lived here our entire lives, and nothing has ever happened to us. I always walked at night before I got my license, and another friend of ours regularly walks home late at night without issue. I tried to understand if something else was happening and asked him if maybe he was upset about something deeper and just projected it onto this situation. I might have worded it poorly, but he exploded at me instead of talking. I apologized if I said it the wrong way, but at that point, he wasn't listening to me at all. Meanwhile, he wasn't trying to understand my side either. I told him it was my responsibility to be at my own birthday party and that my guests had made an effort to celebrate with me. I couldn't just disappear for half an hour. He dismissed that, told me I was a bad friend and sister, and that my priorities were all wrong. Ultimately, he told me he didn't want to see me for a while. I am honestly confused and questioning our friendship after this because of how he reacted. I tried to understand his side, and he was hurt that I wasn't there for him when he needed me. But at the same time, I couldn't just leave my party if it wasn't an emergency. Now, I don't know if our friendship can bounce back from this or how I'm supposed to rely on him moving forward. If this is how he reacts to something like this, what happens if we end up in a similar situation while traveling? Will he leave me behind if I don't do what he wants? Update: to clarify something I've seen speculated in the comments, there are no romantic feelings involved. He's gay, so there was never any romantic interest between us. After reading many comments and reflecting on everything, I decided to go without contact. I've also decided to go forward with my work and travel plans alone because I simply can't trust someone like this to be my emergency contact in another country. I had a long conversation with my parents and showed them the chat. My mom broke down crying. She told me she'd seen narcissistic behavior and red flags in him for years, but things have gotten worse in the last few months. She said this has been weighing on her, and when she laid everything out for me, I finally saw the bigger picture. Even though it wasn't a romantic relationship, I now realize he was isolating me from other friends and family, always trying to make himself the center of my social life. He even tried to insert himself into most of my other friendships, and looking back, anytime I made progress in life, he would find a way to hold me back or drag me down. My dad told me that some of the recent arguments I've had with my family were their way of getting me to see what was happening, but I just didn't recognize it until now. He also said he's relieved I won't be traveling overseas with him. My parents reassured me that while this will be hard at first, I'll heal, and cutting ties now will make things easier in the long run. They also pointed out things I had overlooked, like how he tagged along on family holidays without paying but was never particularly grateful to my family for inviting him. I've started talking to one of our mutual friends about what happened. She's busy with the Super Bowl, but I'll tell her everything as objectively as possible once she's back. I don't want to trash talk him or damage his reputation at work, but if coworkers ask, I'll be honest about why I've distanced myself. I genuinely wish him the best and hope he works through his issues and finds happiness. But I'm done. My mom breaking down in tears was the final straw for me. Even though much of my social circle overlaps with him, I know I'll eventually sort everything out and move on. It feels like a friendship divorce, but this is a necessary step. I need to reevaluate who my real friends are and how they treat me, and I might need to cut ties with a few other people along the way. I texted one of my close friends, joking that we're getting a divorce and that I'm filing for custody of her. I hope she won't be manipulated by him, but right now, I need to be prepared for anything. This won't be easy, but I'll cut my losses and move forward, hopefully toward a better future, with better friends, ones I can trust and who put as much effort into our friendship as I do.